Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Trevor. Very grateful to have you here. In today's video, I'm just going to be sharing with you 5 hidden gem cheapies for the winter months. So these are all going to be much less talked about fragrances in the fragrance community, and they're going to be perfect for the cold weather and temperatures. So I'm going to get started right away with the list. I've got 3 clones in here and then 2 standalone fragrances. So I'll start right away with this one, which is FA Paris Glorious Oud. This is a clone for Oud for Glory, which is somewhat of a masculine take on the BR540 DNA. It's sort of like a sugared candy floss. This one brings a little bit more of a spicy saffron and a little bit of a woody textural feel from the oud in here. Makes this a little bit more masculine leaning than Baccarat Rouge and a little bit more wintertime appropriate, whereas BR540 is perhaps maybe a little bit more autumnal. Now I have a sample of Oud for Greatness. I've gifted a full bottle of it away before. This is very close. It has a little bit less vibrancy or loudness, but it's already a loud DNA, so you're not missing much. And in the air, this is almost identical, and they absolutely smashed the presentation on this one. It's very difficult to tell that this isn't just Oud for Glory from a distance, and I really am impressed by this. It's very heavy, very expensive and luxurious feeling. They got like the matte finish on the cap. Incredible stuff. Again, this is FA Paris Glorious Oud, and I picked mine up from Triple Traders for right around $40. And while I think it's Lattafa's Oud for Glory, Badial Oud is the one that's currently on the market right now. If you haven't already picked that one up, or the Afnan Supremacy in Oud, I think the presentation and quality of juice on this one is outstanding, and it's my go-to pick for a Oud for Greatness clone for this winter 2023. So FA Paris Glorious Oud is my first hidden gem cheapie recommendation. The next one is one that I picked up off of one of my subscribers' recommendations. Shout out to Donnie. This is a clone of the original Polo Green. This is Classic Match. So this is sub $10 that you can get at Walmart. I got mine on Amazon for $7, but this is a stunning offering for such an affordable price. I couldn't believe it. It's got all those classical elements that you love about Polo, with the pine fir and the tobacco and the richness and the greenery and the masculine edge, while still being somewhat wearable in a modern setting, I would say. It has some of that more oak mossy, scratchy, green vibe going on that is reminiscent of a more mature fragrance, but I think that the tobacco makes this just sweet enough to be something that is easily wearable in the modern day. And this is my absolutely #1 pick for price to value proposition for a cologne right now for men in winter 2023. Again, this is Classic Match, a clone of the original Polo Green. You can get this for sub $10. So again, appreciate you, Donnie, for letting me know about this one. This is one of my favorite buys of the year, no doubt. Feel like I really got a good deal on this one. Again, Classic Match from I think Classic Match is the name of the brand, and they're cloning Polo. They have a number of clones that they do. They're an American-based clone house, and I haven't tried anything from the brand yet. I think they have a really popular bestseller of an Aqua de Jo clone, the original EDT, that goes on Amazon as well. But this one is stunning stuff, and it has about moderate performance, 5 to 6 hours, so definitely check this one out. Can't go wrong for sub $10. Okay, this next one is a real hidden gem. I don't think anyone on YouTube is talking about it, and I'm really glad to bring it to the community today in this video. This is going to be a clone of Naxos, and I much prefer this over Insurrection Pure 2 from Rayanne Tradition. This is Samba Skin. I don't know the name of the parent company. The Perfumer's Workshop is who distributes this. You can get this on Fragrance Net for maybe $10 or $12, and this is a much more rich, vanillic, spicy, ambery, woody take on the Naxos or Pure Havana DNA. Whereas the Rayanne Tradition 2, it's got a little bit of a chalky textural feel, a little bit of a fruity brightness to it. This one is much more creamy, much more rich, much more dense, much more leaning into the base note, gourmandish facet, some woody sides of the honeyed tobacco and lavender, which is the signature mark of the Naxos Pure Havana DNA. And yeah, this one is a moderate performer, about 5 to 6 hours despite the density of notes, but again, I think just does a much better job of cloning that DNA than the Rayan Tradition does, and for at an even more affordable price. Again, you can get this from Fragrance Net, I believe, for under $15, and I love this as a cozy throw-on, just because I already own Naxos. That's something that I would wear more in a dressed-up setting, but this is a perfect casual take on that DNA. It has a little bit more of a spicy edge to it as well that shows up in the texture of it, but very creamy, woody, comforting, soft. Amazing stuff, especially for the price point. Couldn't believe that I picked this up for that price, and a really relatively unknown fragrance house in general. I might be trying out some more from them, although this was, I think, the only one of their offerings that had a relatively high rating score on Fragrantica, which is why I decided to go ahead and grab this one, and really glad that I did. Again, this is a great Naxos clone, better than Insurrection 2 Wild, in my opinion, Samba Skin from the Perfumer's Workshop. Okay, this next one is one of 2 standalone fragrances that aren't clones, at least not anything that I know of, and this first one is not as hidden as the last Samba Skin, as a few of the other reviewers have already mentioned this. I actually found out about this one from Clements, and then there was also a review of it by Chris at Scentland, and this is another sub $20 fragrance, perfect for the winter time. I really am looking forward to wearing this one in February because it brings to the foreground a lot of notes that I associate with that month. This is Gentleman Legacy from Yardley, and basically what you get here is a Dior Homme original with a jammy rose. Now, the quality is not where you would want it to be for that sort of description. This reminds me a little bit of a cross between Benetton Dream Big and America by Perry Ellis. So you're getting about a Perry Ellis quality juice in here, but the scent profile is quite delicious. It has this almost candied rose. I don't want to quite say jammy because it's not quite that thick or quite that red or dense, but it does have a candied aspect to it. Not quite dewy, fresh, and floral, but right in the middle between jammy and fresh, and it's like a candied rose, very much reminiscent of how they did it in America by Perry Ellis. And then the overall woody, soft, powdery cacao vibe that's in here is very reminiscent of Benetton Dream Big or Dior Homme Original, but a bit of a watered-down take on that. Overall, though, it's very nice. There's some orange in here as well that somewhat mingles with that candied rose to give me almost like a raspberry or a cranberry type red berry sweetness in here. The facet in that regard almost reminds me of the chocolate bars that have dried cranberries or raspberries in it. This is somewhat the vibe this gives off. Very creamy, but dry, dusty, powdery from the cacao, the way that it's done. Excellent offering, especially for the sub $20 price point. It's not a wow factor fragrance, but a very awesome masculine gourmand that's light and easy to wear. Something I would consider for Thanksgiving, to be honest, but I think perfect for date night or casual throughout the remainder of the winter season. This is Yardley Gentleman Legacy. And finally, this is the most expensive one on the list. It's kind of hard to find it for sub 50. I think I got mine as a tester for right around $41, and it comes in a 75 ml bottle only. And in general, there's a few discounters out there right now that have it for right around $55 on eBay. I think Gift Express. And it's a little bit of a feminine leaning fragrance, as it was marketed towards women, but as it's been reformulated over the years, it's had its customer base or its fan base critique it for becoming more and more masculine over time, and so that's why I think it's a great recommendation for men here in 2023. And this is none other than Habanita from Molinard. So Molinard pops up as a house from time to time. I think Fig is one of the more popular ones that they have. It often gets mentioned in summertime lists. Haven't gotten my nose on that. This is the only one that I own from the house as of right now. But what you get here is it's almost like a powdery iris fragrance, although there's no iris listed in the note breakdown. Part of the powdery aspect in here, there's some jasmine that gives it kind of the main base or focal point of the fragrance. I would say a very creamy, floral, dense, thick vibe from the jasmine. There's also a mastic resin note in here, which is something that's in Acqua di Gio Profondo that gives it this almost sticky quality. Almost a wet stickiness, and then the rest of the composition of notes is really kind of like a jammy rose enveloped in an ashtray ash. I believe the origination of this fragrance was marketed as women for something to spray their cigarettes with to take away the smell and make it more perfumed, and that's somewhat translates here in the scent profile, as it does smell like a bunch of ash, which is providing some of the powdery nuance in here, as well as that bit of a jammy rose gives it a bit of a tartness to it as well, and then the textural feel of like a very dense, thick floral comes in from some jasmine. There's a handful of other notes in here as well, but it's a very powdery, almost lipsticky iris style feeling fragrance with this ashy overtone that gives it a bit of a dark edge. But nonetheless, easy to wear, sweet, comforting, cozy, and I believe Lalique did the original bottle for this. I don't know if they still do it, but it has a pretty nice engraving around it, and the presentation is well off, and I think this is a great pick for somebody who doesn't mind exploring a feminine leaning fragrance, because it does have a heavy floral powdery component to it, but again the powderiness is a bit ashy, so I think it's great for the wintertime because of that. It's got a little bit of a smoky nuance, but it's also a bit masculine leaning away from its original intent, it would seem, going in that direction. And for $50 I think this is a great one to try out for the wintertime and a true hidden gem. And that is my recommendations for the upcoming winter 2023, some affordable gems to try out. Let me know any in the comment section down below that I might have missed and that you would like to share with the community as well. I love helping each other out and learning from one another, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.